Welcome to my readathon. So, thank you everyone for joining me. My name's Leighanne Turner. I am a voiceover and speaking coach, and thank you so much for joining me today on a special podcast episode. It is a readathon where I'm raising money, reading for a whole straight hour, so I can raise money for my friends that are working, grafting hard out in Ukraine and in Poland, who are working hard to really help people to stay focused, to stay inspired. They're reading the Bible with people, praying with people, just helping them to just know that, God has got their back. It's a hard time, but it's like character building time, and just have hope. Because when you ain't got hope, you really ain't got nothing. So my friends are out there and I'm just trying to raise some money to help them, continue to do the good work that they're doing. And if I can just give a little bit of money to help them, amazing. So thank you so much for coming and watching. Click the link below the post, or the link on my bio, depending on what platform you're watching or listening to me on, and donate. It's one of the GoFundMe, Just Giving pages, sorry. So I'm going to read for one whole hour. And you're thinking like, Leighanne, how are you going to do it? You know me, I can easily do it. So I'm going to set my clock, my stopwatch. Can you see the time there? 1 hour is starting now. I'm going to read a bit, talk a bit about the book that I like, but I'm going for one whole hour straight. We are ready. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so the first book I'm going to read, of course, is my favorite one in the whole world. Everybody should be reading this. The Bible. So I'm saying to you, yeah, I'm reading a whole bunch of different books. These ain't even a load. I've got these ones that I'm going to be reading, just little snippets of books. I'm going to be reading some even on my Kindle as well. I'm going for it. The problem if I have enough to read, it's like how to skim it down and read it. Like, oh my gosh, there are so many that you can read. And I've got some on the floor there that I need to go and pick. I've got some on my desk. Got this one. I've got some on my Kindle as well. I'm going to read little snippets of each bit. And then I'm going to just grab the other ones. There's some good ones over there as well. I can't wait. Okay, so one of my favorite ones that I do love to read. I'm going to be sipping my drink all the way through this. You know how it goes. One of my favorite bits to read is listen to me. Isaiah 43:18. It says, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the waste. And that just reminds me, like, there's always something new happening, whether it's the day you've woken up today or something happened yesterday. Forget about yesterday, focus on today. And there's always something new, something great, something amazing for you to see and do. And there's something new happening. But are you aware? Are you alert? Can you see it? Does that make sense? So I'm probably going to come back to that one a little bit later. Let me put that here. The ones that I'm actually reading or done, I'm going to put them to that side. Another book. Oh my gosh, we reread this book, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. We read this book in school. It's one of our GCSE books that we had to read. And I really love it. It was like a woman. Yeah, so it says Harper Lee, but it's actually, and you think it's like a man's name, but it's actually a woman that wrote it. If you haven't read this book, oh my God, it's amazing. It's a lawyer who's got some children, and I think he's defending, I don't want to spoil the whole thing for you. The whole story is spoken through the eyes of 2 children, and it's very a unique way of how they've done it. And it's about attitudes, behavior of people in the South, deep South of America. And I think it's one man that goes, yeah, that's it. A black man that's charged with the rape of a white girl. It's a classic story. I'm just going to open up. I don't know where. Let me just grab a chapter here. I'm going to go here. Oh, maybe I should do the beginning bit, isn't it, really? Because you might not even know what's going on. Oh my gosh, look at my little hand. This is my actual book that I had from GCSE times. My handwriting. Anyway, let's go. Let me go to the page. Okay, chapter 1. If you've got any of these books, please do read along with me, because I love talking. I love reading. Reading is like one of the, you learn a lot at the same time. You can learn someone's 15 or 20-year experience in a book if you just spent a few hours reading. I love books. If you don't love books, I mean, don't have to be a hard copy reading book. Get a Kindle. I'm going to read two Kindle books as well, or get audio books, or go on YouTube and look to see if there's an audio version of what you want to read. There's also a way you can fill your mind, so please do fill it. Never limit yourself. Anyway, let me go back to Kill a Mockingbird. Chapter 1. So when he was nearly 13, my brother Jem got his arm badly broken at the elbow. When it healed and Jem's fears of never being able to play football were assuaged, he was seldom self-conscious about his injury. His left arm was somewhat shorter than his right. When he stood or walked, the back of his hand was at right angles to his body, his thumb parallel to his thigh. He couldn't have cared less, so as long as he could pass and punt. When enough years had gone by to enable us to look back on them, we sometimes discuss the events leading to his accident. I maintain that you all started it all. But Jem, who was 4 years my senior, said it started long before that. He said it began the summer Deal came to us, when Deal first gave us the idea of making Boo Radley come out. I said if he wanted to take a broad view of the thing, it really began with Andrew Jackson. If General Jackson hadn't run the creeks up the creek, Simon Finch would have never paddled up the Alabama. And where would we be if he hadn't? We were far too old to settle an argument with a fist fight. So we consulted Atticus. It says out father. I think it's supposed to say our father said we were both right. I think there's a little typo, but the book's so good, you just got to keep going. Being Southerners was a source of shame to some members of the family. We had no recorded ancestors on either side of the Battle of Hastings. All we had was Simon Finch, a fur-trapping apothecary from Cornwall whose piety was exceeded only by his stinginess. In England, Simon was irritated by the persecution of those who called themselves Methodists at the hands of their more liberal brethren, and as Simon called himself a Methodist, he worked his way across the Atlantic to Philadelphia, thence to Jamaica, thence to Mobile, and up to the St. Stephen's, mindful of John Wesley's strictures on the use of many words in buying and selling. Simon made a pile of practicing medicine, but in his pursuit he was unhappy, lest be tempted into doing what he knew was not for the glory of God, as the putting on of gold and costly apparel. So Simon, having forgotten his teacher's dictum on the possession of human chattels, bought 3 slaves, and with their aid established a homestead on the banks of the Alabama River, some 40 miles from St. Stephen's. He returned to St. Stephen's only once to find a wife, and with her establish a line that ran high to daughters. Simon lived an impressive age and died rich. So that is To Kill a Mockingbird. Gosh, it's sold loads actually. 30, is that 30,000? Oh, 30 million. 30 million actually, quite a lot. I love this book. It's really, really nice. If you don't know what to read of a classic, I'm sure this is termed as a classic. It's always, they probably don't do it for GCSE again. I probably put some nonsense book on the GCSE reading list, but that book brings back memories even now. And I did that GCSE years, like I'm telling you, donkeys, years ago. I'm telling you, I read it. And I still remember the book. I still remember the emotion, the feeling of it. So I just want to encourage you, get into a book. All right. So I'm going to go and read. So I've done 1, 2. It ain't really about the number of books. It's just for me to just read and speak continuously for a whole hour. So if you feel like it, you feel like you've heard enough or you want to listen more, I'm grateful. Please continue to sit and listen to me. And please drop a link, because this one is a fundraiser podcast special, all right? I'm going to go to this book. Now, one of my sisters bought me this book. It's called The Little Book of Help. I don't know who it's by. It just says Little Book of Help. So yeah, if you want to get it, you can get it. It's a cute one because you can keep it in your bag and stuff like that, and just kind of, it's got little quotes and stuff, sections of the Bible. And this one we'll grab this one. Oh, I think I'm going to do 2 from here actually. So the first one I'm going to do, it says, remember, you will always reap what you sow. So don't get tired of doing what is good. Don't get discouraged and give up, for we will reap a harvest of blessing. Galatians 6:9 and 9 in the NLT version. So this is just a reminder, whatever work you put in is what you're going to get out. Do you know what I'm saying? That works in any area. I'm just going to go back to one of my favorite topics, like the gym. If you ain't putting in hard graft in the wintertime or the colder months, when it's time to bust your summer body, you're not going to be ready, are you? You can't spin it around in 6 weeks. No, even people say, you can get this body sculpt in 4 weeks, 6 weeks. There's a liar. There's a liar. You got to go hard during the winter months. Change it a little bit when the spring and summer comes in so you can start toning up a little bit more. But just be consistent. Whatever it is you do, be consistent. You reap what you sow. That ain't just a phrase. That is from the Bible, if you didn't understand what I just said. All right. Another one I want to read. Sometimes I just have this book and I just look at pages that I like, or just open it from time to time and something. Oh, I quite like this one. So this one says, lazy people want much but get little, but those who work hard will prosper and be satisfied, you know? So think of what it is that you're doing. Don't be lazy. If you want to prosper, you got to work hard, basically, isn't it? You got to work hard or work smart, you know, whatever type of work it is you're doing. Work hard, work smart, but you got to work, okay? Let me grab one more because it's only a little teeny tiny book. Oh, this one is... Let me read this one. One of my favorite ones. I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11 in the NLT version. I just love this one. It just reminds me that, yeah, God's got my back. I've got great plans over me. I can plan as much as I want to plan, but it's God's idea. God's lead is going to control and dominate my life. And I've just got to not worry, just trust. God's got a good plan. He already's planned all out for me. I just need to walk, be humble, be obedient, just go after it and stuff like that, you know? So I really love this. Have a variety of books, you know what I'm saying? And like have different versions of books, depending on what your goals are, what you want to learn, what you want to, you know, there's millions of books everywhere. Everybody writes a book, you know, and you could be reading from now. I'm just moving another book here now until, I don't know, for the longest time. So I just think, like, read a book. You never know what you'll learn or why you need to learn it and when you need to implement it. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me grab another one. I'm going to just grab another one. This is the one. If you haven't read this book, oh my gosh, where have you been? Have you read this book? How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Like, if you ain't read this book, then I don't know what book you've read. I don't know what type of life you're leading at here. Get this book, whether you read it on hard copy. You know how I got this one? I did a speaking competition, 2021. It was during the lockdown, and I won the competition. Amazing, definitely God's blessing. And then part of the gift was I got a trophy, I got a gift voucher, and I got this book. And I'm like, this book, I had always heard of it, and I always had it on my book list. I'm like, I'm going to read that book one day. There's certain books I need to make sure I read. I had it on my list. And when I got it as a gift, I said, you know what? You just moved up the list. And I was like, what has this book really got to teach me? Because I'm like, I think I'm friendly. I think I'm engaged. And I think I listen to people and talk nicely to people. And I thought, well, I must be okay. But when you read this book, if you think you are good at making friends, read this book. This book, it's a new level. How to win friends. Not just be a friend. That's different. Not just to like be a friend. How to win, attract the right friends to you. What makes someone who wants to connect with you and stay your friend. This book is, you know. Anyway, I'm just 8 things for coaching. Yeah. Even this book says this. I'm just going to pick up the other book. This book says this. 8 things that you want to achieve. Yeah, this is what I love it. I'm off the camera for a little bit, but no one leave because I'm still here. So don't you dare leave because I'm still here, because we still got like just under an hour together. So you ain't going nowhere, love. So what I really love this book is that it truly is, and she's back. It truly is life-changing. Let me read you what this says. 8 things this book will help you to achieve. You're going to get out of the mental rut. Like, who don't want to get out of the mental rut? Think new thoughts, acquire new visions, discover new ambitions. You're going to make friends quickly and easily. Like, who doesn't want that? Everybody wants that. I want to make friends quickly and easily. Increase your popularity, win people to your way of thinking, increase your influence, your prestige, your ability to get things done, handle complaints, avoid arguments, keep your human contact smooth and pleasant, become a better speaker, a more entertaining conversationalist, arouse enthusiasm among your associates. This book has done all these things for more than 10 million readers in 36 languages. Like, if it can just do these 8 things, why don't you just get, even if you got one of the things from it, that would be better than having none of the things from it if you didn't read it, okay? So if you read it, drop comments below this video and tell me what you thought. If you ain't read it, then read it and then still drop comments and tell me what you thought of the book. So I'm just going to, the book's so good, it's like you don't even know where to start. If you don't do this, just... Okay, let me just, I don't know how this book's written away. Okay, let me just read the ways to get the most out of this book. I'll read a little snippet there, this little snippet. How this book was written and why. No. Suggestions how to get the most out of this book. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to read little samples because this book is a page turner because I like constantly writing like notes. Like I write little lines over it. So like highlight this bit, highlight that bit, highlight this. This book changed your life. You want to win friends quickly and easily and keep them. This is your book. Okay, let me read some bits that I've highlighted. So it says 9 things how to get the most out of this book. I'm just reading random bits. What is the magic requirement? Just this: a deep driving desire to learn, a vigorous determination to increase your ability to deal with people. And number 2, he said there's 9 suggestions on how to get the most out of this book. Another bit I've read is, but if you're reading because you want to increase your skill in human relations, then go back and reread each chapter thoroughly. In the long run, this will mean saving time and getting results. Like, there's no point getting a book like this. You don't put in action what he says to do. You don't remember what he said to do. So you've got to spend the time rereading again. We should be actioning. Yeah, that makes sense. So what this is stop frequently in your reading to think over what you're reading. Do you do that when you read? Do you read a bit, stop and think? Because when I remember doing like GCSE English and A levels, we would read like a page, stop, and then write 5 bullet points on what just happened on that page. So before we progress, and if we couldn't remember what we just read, then you ain't really read it. So kind of like doing like active reading. There's so many different ways and techniques you can do it to read the book and stuff. But if it's something you like, it depends on what you're reading as well. Because when I was studying as well, I used to do things in the same way. But I think that's definitely a key thing. Like, ask yourself, like, what did you read? And when can you apply the suggestions? Because reading is great, but it's the action. That's the game changer. That's the game changer. When you put stuff into action, it's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. He also suggests read with a crayon, pencil, pen, highlighter. When you come across a suggestion, you can use and feel. You can draw a line beside or a star, underline it, etc. So that when your eyes go back to that page, you'll be like, there's my favorite part. So even with me, I don't know if you can see it on the screen. I've put like lines, pencil lines on the paragraphs that really kind of stood out to me at the time I was reading it. And sometimes when you read a book again, it's like, wow, I never saw this the first time. It's like incredible. Okay, I read this part as well. It said this: after reading it thoroughly, you ought to spend a few hours reviewing it every month. This ain't just a book you keep and just put down. No, this book is like a reference book for your life. Like it says, keep it on your desk in front of you every day. Glance through it often. Keep constantly impressing yourself with the rich possibilities for improvement that still lie in the offing. Remember that the use of these principles can be made habitual only by constant use. And vigorous campaign of review. Sorry, there's a book in my face just then. Review and application. There's no other way. You've got to read the book, review the book, apply it. That's his technique. He gives a few more points. He says, for example, when you are displeased, it's much easier to criticize and condemn than it is to try to understand the other person's viewpoint. It's frequently easier to find fault than to find praise. Oh, anybody relate to that? It's more natural to talk about what you want than to talk about what the other person wants, and so on. So this book kind of highlights that you have to kind of think in the space. I think he uses the term empathy, but he does it in a different way. And he's also talks about another bit. He said, this system of self-analysis, self-education, continued year after year, did more for me than any one thing I'd ever attempted. So you've got to always kind of be on a daily basis, analyze yourself. Like today, did I do my hair, brush my teeth, shower, get changed? Do I look good? Do I feel good? Journal, did I meet my goals of reaching out to new friends? What is it that you were asked to do that day? Like, what is your goal in life? And how do you do a little bit of your goal each and every single day? Yeah. Another one, he said, he just goes over the points of how to use the book effectively, where he said, ask yourself what mistakes you have made, what improvement, what lessons you have learned for the future, and keep notes in the back of the book showing how and what you've done to apply these principles. Like, certain time, I just got to breathe. I mean, you got to breathe in about this book. Ooh, the first time I read it, well, I've only read it once, yeah. But I've even seen, just from what I've read, that I need to fix up and actually have this like as a reference book, even on my desk, so I can go through it, because there's nothing greater than making a new friend, learning about someone else, helping someone else, supporting someone else's life. And if you find that a struggle, it's not natural for you, it's hard for you to relate or engage, ask questions that really helps draw out someone's heart, this book, I think, could help you a lot. It could help you a lot. 100%, I'm thinking, definitely. Okay, so I'm just looking at the time check. We're rolling. Okay. I might come back to that one a bit later, see what's happening with the rest of the books on the list. We'll have to have a little look there. We'll have to have a little look there. So I think I'm going to put the books on the floor, because I'm not going to have much space on it with all these amazing books. Okay, so I went from one amazing book to another amazing book. Now, when you was a kid, like, what books did you read? Did you do Disney, like Beauty and the Beast? That was it, did Beauty and the Beast. Sleeping Beauty. Did you do Smurfs? Did you do what's it called, Rainbow Show? What did you read as a kid? Because I used to read a lot as a kid. I don't read as much. It's mad. I used to read so much as a kid. I guess you've got different time schedule in it. I could read a book in a week, if quicker, 2-3 days, if it was like a shorter one. But now that I'm older, I probably need to have the knowledge of books in me more than what I was as a child. We need at all different stages. Am I reading that much? I think I was listening to a podcast or video, YouTube video, and who was it? It was, anyway, one of the motivational speakers said that they read, that the richest man in the world reads a book, was said 10 books a week, and so he attempts to do 3 books a week. I thought, wow, brilliant. I kind of do like one over a couple of weeks, not at that level at all. But I thought it was a good challenge, and I thought, let me just challenge you and let you guys know about it. So one of my favorite books in the whole wide world. Can you see this one, the label? Anansi the Spider-Man by Philip Sherlock. Now, this book, if you didn't grow up with this growing up, I'd be like, I feel so sad for you. I think if you have never read this book, you should go and get a copy or read a copy online. So it's Anansi the Spider-Man. It says Jamaican folktale. So some of these stuff are, what can you say, old wives' tales. Some of them are, they always give like some type of message, like, oh, we don't do this or we do that. They always give like some type of message, which is great and brilliant, So I'm just going to read a little bit from the front. Page 1, it says, can everybody read along with me? Who was Anansi? He was a man and he was a spider. When things went well, he was a man, but when he was in great danger, he became a spider, safe in his web, high up on the ceiling. That was why his friend Mouse called him Ceiling Thomas. Anansi's home was in the villages and forests of West Africa. From there, long years ago, thousands of men and women came to the islands of the Caribbean. They brought with them the stories that they loved, the stories about clever Brer Anansi and his friends Tiger and Crow and Moose Moose and Kisanda the cat. And today, the people of the islands still tell these stories to each other. So in some country villages in Jamaica, when the sun goes down, the children gather around like an old woman, like your grandma or your aunt or someone, and listen to the stories of Anansi. In the dim light, they see the animals, goat, rat, crow, and the others behaving like men and women. They see how excited everyone becomes as soon as Anansi appears. They laugh at the way in which he tricks all the strong animals and gets the better of those who are much bigger than himself. At last, the story comes to an end. That night, the night and bedtime come. But next day, when the children see Ceiling Thomas, they know that he is more than a spider. They know that he is Anansi the Spider-Man, and they do him no harm. I find like books, whether it's audiobook, Kindle book, hardcover book, it gives you a chance for your mind to just escape. Like, who don't want to escape? Yes, go on holiday, use the bathroom on your own without all the children. But, oh, sorry. But there's something amazing about just reading something you used to read as a kid and having the story come back to life. And it's like, wow, I can get to share it with you guys. And that's very special. I just wanted to share that moment just there with you in between reading and stuff. There's another one I thought I'd have a look at. And with the Anansi books, all the stories are kind of short. They're all just kind of short stories, but oh, Kisanda was a cat. Oh, here we go. Let me just read this little bit. So it says, Kisanda was a cat. Anansi and Mouse were afraid of Kisanda. She could see in the dark. She could walk so swiftly, so softly, that no one knew when she was coming. Anansi and Mouse, whose full name was Mouse Atu, and whose pet name was Moose Moose Atu, feared Kisanda's sharp teeth and cruel claws and her eyes that shone bright in the dark. But Kisanda had a dukkana tree, and the tree had lovely puddings on it. No one else had such a tree, and Nancy and Moose Moose both loved the puddings. They wondered how could they get some of the puddings from Kisandra's tree. Kisandra was very proud of the tree. In the mornings, as she would go out and take a hoe and dig around the roots of the tree until she'd made a little gutter. Then she filled the gutter with water, and this made the pudding grow large and sweet. Yummy! Then it says, one evening, Moose Atu was talking with Brother Anansi. Anansi said, did you see the dukkana tree in Kisandra's garden, Mr. Moose Moose Atu? Yes, Mr. Moose Moose said. And don't you know, Brother Anansi, I would like to lay hands on some of the lovely puddings on that tree. They were ready for the picking now. My mouth waters every time I think of them. Like, imagine just being scared of, basically they're scared of a cat who's Cassandra, and this is Anansi and his friend. And what I love about it, just reminds me of like, oh, just, you know, in your bed, just snuggling up into your bed and no one bothering you, and just, well, they'll bother you a little bit, but reading books. I just would always read a book, and then, do you know what I'm saying, just read a book. Well, I was always told I had to go and read a fine book and read was always the instruction at home when I wanted to go and do something non-book based, something that wasn't really gonna probably further or develop me, actually, to be honest. Now, you might think this book collection is a bit mad, but I don't mind. I love a full range of books. So you see, I started off with scriptures, got a motivational book. That one was a children's story time book. I want to read this one. Now, this one was gifted to me, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly So highly effective people. I love this book. It's got so much. It's hard to even explain it. It's one that you obviously, all of these books I'm saying you've got to read. Priority ones will be like the motivational ones, or the kind of religious based ones, as Haven puts them under religion, because I mean, just looking at the titles, where are they? Seven of Ya. You know, he's talking about private victory, public glory. Oh, sorry, the 7 habits as well. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. Oh, we're there. Okay. Our character really is a composite of habits. Show thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a lot of reaping words, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a habit, sow a character, reap a destiny. The maxim goes, okay, wasn't as smooth as I thought, but the 7 habits in this book are amazing to go through. Be proactive in your work, in your job, in reaching out to people and just making friends. Being with the end in mind, put first things first. Paradigms of interdependence, think win-win, seek first to understand, then be understood. Now, this is key. Seek first to understand, where you've got to ask questions, stop and listen. Sometimes you can find out the answer just by someone just actually offloading on you, even though I don't like it that way. But somehow, some way that works. And seek first to understand, then be understood. Synergize. We need synergy. So if anyone wants to grab this book, I would highly suggest you get it. If you haven't read it before, don't worry about it, but I hope that at least from what I'm reading, there'd at least be one book at least that kind of, you know, stays the course of time. That's what I basically stays the course of time. Okay, so I've got a huge Shakespeare book. So obviously I was an English literature student. I've got a huge book of, what's in there? Like, it's all Shakespeare's plays now. I should have actually brought that one over, but it's quite a big doorstep, things thick like that. So I'm happy to read about Shakespeare's tales from, hold on. Oh my gosh. You know what? I know the line. Okay, so you know he's written so many plays, yeah? There's a line that I remember. So let me read a bit from here. Then I'm going to do my line from A Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare. So it says, there was a law in the city of Athens which gave to its citizens the power of compelling their daughters to marry whomsoever they pleased. For upon a daughter's refusing to marry the man her father had chosen to be her husband, the father was empowered by this law to cause her to be put to death. But even though they do happen to prove a little refractory, this law was seldom or never put in place. Though perhaps the young ladies of the city were not unfrequently treated by their parents of the names of it. Yeah. So as I was saying, this is Midsummer Night's Dream. It's got like, I think it's got, if this is the one, I'm thinking it is this one. It's got like 4 stories all mixed in one, and then they've got names like Hermione, Helena, all those. But I remember this line, and this is going back years. Do you have a favorite line in I don't know, in a play or something you listen to? Because my one from Shakespeare, even though there's so many you can choose, so my one of my favorite Shakespeare ones was this is from Midsummer Night's Dream. It's a brother that says, does he say it to the girl? Is it the brother? I'm forgetting the characters, man. Anyway, Hermione, Hippolyta, there's all these different people. Anyway, so this is the line. I remember it now. It says, tempt not too much the hatred of my spirit, for I am sick when I look on thee. And I'm just like, wow, how can I even remember that line all the time ago I've done it? But I do, because key lines, key books, they stick with you. So get this, or the actual full works, which is a big donkey book of stuff. But yeah, okay, so let me read. Oh, I've got a whole pile. If you can see, if you've seen my pictures up, got a whole pile of books, which I'm so grateful, but I'm like, am I gonna get through them all? And the last, yeah, okay, so I've opened up Life Lessons for My Girls. The Only Way to Live, The Only Way to Live. Okay, I'm just going to read a page because I have read this book, but I can't remember this book. Is that a bit bad? I remember, but just not. The name's going to take a while. So this book, Life Lesson to My Sister. I think my sister actually gave me this book when I was having a bit of a tough time at work. It's just, everyone was just being rude and customers being, it's just the client, customers, everyone's being rude. I was just like, Lord, take me now. You know, certain time it was too much. Anyway, this book, this is your life and you determine the outcome. So I'm reading from this book and put in the shot so you can see. All your life you've been someone's child, someone's granddaughter, someone's friend. But now it's time to separate yourself and find out who you are. Every teenager goes through a period of getting to know herself. Some 20-year-olds are still doing it and older, but this time really is meant for you to stretch your spirit, learn about and pursue your life. So just as little encouragement for anybody who's single and you're past 20 or 30, whatever age it is, you put the pressure on yourself. Right? This is a time you're going to stretch your spirit and learn about your purpose in life. Learn about yourself. Worry about yourself, as that girl said in that video that time on TikTok or on went through. Where did it go? To TikTok, the other one. So I just love books like this because I know they're going to help me. When I read a few paragraphs, I'm like, oh gosh, I said that, I want to do that. Yeah. So right here, it says right now you're very good at comparing. You know, you're nothing like so-and-so, or you'd never do this or think. And that's what I want you to tap into. Who are you? Think family are in. Would you deal with the same situation? Why not? What makes a guy who cheated on you different? A guy who called you, why would you save a guy who had no money? Why? Oh, this book's deep, you know. Make a list of things now you simply would not tolerate. This list describes character. This is who you are. This is who you are and what you represent. You want this list to truly reflect you. So think of every possible human you can. Think of the things you don't want to happen in your life. For example, if you don't want to be a single parent, write that down and write the reason why. You know, it's just such a great book. And, you know, if you're in the office space or you've got to deal with people for your main job, which somehow you must have to, this one is a good one. I'll leave it on top of, actually, I'm not too sure which one to leave it on because they're all going to be read. Okay. I'm just going to get a book up. I should just do like this, close my eyes. Although it's like quite there. Oh. I just need to, there's so many books. Ah! It's not easy because it's like, I don't want to finish the book and it's like, I finished the book. It's like I always find, I remember my English teacher, this is school days English teacher, she said you should feel when you've read a good book like this one, you put it down, you said goodbye to a good friend. And I thought, you know what, at the time I don't feel it was in a great relationship, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna look for someone who's got bigger, it must have a listening heart at least, you know, at least I think. So the next book, can I have a drum roll please? Whoops, sorry if I bugs the camera. This one, I think she's kind of looking cute like me kind of thing. Maybe. Okay, so Michelle Obama's becoming, I understand she's got another book out because I see her doing a world book tour again. I was like, that same old book, even I've got it, but I hope there's some good plans. Anyway, so Michelle, obviously she's Michelle Obama, married to the former president, and sounds like somehow, somewhere they oh, come on, page. It's so new, so sticky. Anyway, here we go. The sample of Becoming. I spent much of my childhood listening to the sound of striving. It came in the form of bad music, or at least amateur music. At least amateur music. Coming up through the floorboards of my bedroom, the plink, plink, plink of students through. Sorry, I just keep losing my place. My family belonged to my family lived to the South Shore neighborhood of Chicago in a brick bungalow that belonged to Robbie and her husband. Terry and my parents rented an apartment on the second floor while Robbie and Terry lived on the first. Robbie was my mother's aunt and had, generous to her over many years. She directed the choir. She had a small slab but didn't appreciate sarcasm the way my mum did, you know. Yeah, so her book is amazing. I might not have done it so much justice, sorry, but her book is amazing. Good night, she explained in the middle of the day with the same blast of expiration. Someone else might say, oh, for God's sake. Okay, that's useful to know. But I would suggest getting this book. I think if she's got another book, and write down the topic or the title down in the chat below as well, if you can. But this book is sorry. Oh yeah, this book is amazing. It's so honest and true and real, and you feel like you're actually next to her, near her, kind of thing. You know what I mean, near her, etc. Yeah. So yeah, okay, this book, get this one. Okay. It's like you get going. Yeah, I'm just checking out the timer, how much time we've got. Like, whoa. Even if I don't finish all the books, you've seen the pictures, hopefully, of my there's so many cute ones. Of my yeah. Okay, let me just pick something and read. Oh, this one looks good. Oh, hold on. This one is all about, I love to say I love you, baby. Oh, I like this one. Okay. Oh, some of these are quotes. Some of these are actual lifted scriptures. So here's one. This is a quote. It says, but if thou shalt prove himself faithful then and constant of thy word, I'll make thee glorious by my pen and famous by my word. This is by Mark of whatever. And this quote also said, I thought there was actually scripture in there, but it seems like I must be getting the books confused. Anyway, they're all in categories. Woo! Why is this paper? They're all in categories. Yeah. So they're all in categories and they put them in topics of. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, this is a good one. So from this book, so it says, you glow in my heart like the flames of uncanny candles, and my calmness comes to. Wait, I get all my hands. My calmness overturns the light, and then I stumble against the tables and chairs. Ooh. Okay, let me read one more. Places are empty of you, are empty of all life. Dante Gabriel Rossetti. One more. Absence and the fond of heart. So my heart without yours is dead, and cold as the dark night. Dark midnight river when the moon is down. Okay, so that was one. I think sometimes I forget to breathe. I just want to share and tell you about all this. And it's like, Leighanne, breathe, will you breathe. Can you breathe, dear? Can you breathe? Okay, so I just read I love you. Yeah, I just read that one. And you're probably like, why is she just reading all the time if you've just jumped in and just heard this? As I said, I'm raising money for my friends working hard in Ukraine, Poland, Warsaw, who are out there studying the Bible with people and giving them hope, doing Bible studies with them, praying with them, giving them inspiration, motivation, and just letting them keep their hope and their faith in God rather than the situation, which is a bit horrible, but just give them some funds to help do the project over there. So if you can, great, allow me to read to you. I hope this is really making your night, your day, your evening, your run on the treadmill, your run for the commute, dropping the kids, whatever it is. I hope that this is really helping. It's really helping me. I'm just having a bit of like memories. Like when I got out To Kill a Mockingbird, because I go, wow, I read this one for GCSE, I was so happy. And just, just right. you can have scents and smells and movies and clothes that remind you of a certain period or time of your life. And that book, To Kill a Mockingbird, reminds me of school days. I know some people don't really like their school or school days, but it was good. Okay. So let's go. I'm just going to pick one. So this is like 100 ways to be happy. Like, who don't want to be happy? I'd be mad if you didn't want to be. Sometimes I feel sad when people are like, I don't want to do life. I just like, I don't know, just like, yeah, I know. This one, it says, do not compare yourself unfavorably with others, but you're comparing your inside with their outside, which is comparing your inner feelings and insecurities with their outward show by an unknown author. I'm like, who wrote that quote? You should have been getting some money, some royalties or whatever from that. It was, you know, it's an amazing quote. Let me say it again, because let's just lean in on this one. Do not compare yourself unfavorably with others, but you are comparing your inside with their outside, which is comparing your inner feelings and insecurities with their outward show. It's just so amazing to think, like, you know, if you compare someone like, oh, she's got a better this or bigger car or whatever, just like what this quote says, you're comparing your inside with their outside. Impossible. Impossible. I think that was from Impossible. I've got this book as well. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to fit everything in. I've got this other book as well, 2 books, which are storybooks. One side's in French, then the other side is in English, obviously, so I can understand what to do. But it's such a great design. I'm probably like, you can just put the pages up on the internet now, or whatever, but it's just so nice to have one book that does it. I don't know if I'll have time to read it. You know, I'll probably try and do another one of these readathons to raise money again. But if this is something that you want to help out to, please remember, I've just said, like, I really want you to, if you can, I really want you to, though, if you can, help my friends that are out there in Ukraine and Poland, just out there giving hope, faith, letting people study the Bible, read the word, praying, just focusing on God, no matter how tough it is. And I think they're just so, when they come, I just think it's so amazing, so amazing. Anyway, let me get back to the quote. This quote is for someone who loves to run up and down and try and fix everything for everybody except themselves, okay? It says, is this really your problem? If it is not yours, don't try to fix it. If it is, do you need to fix it now? If so, consider whether there is an expert or an organization which might help, and consult them. Then and only then tackle the problem. They're just saying to be happy, mind your business, if you didn't understand that from there. Oh, I'll keep going back to that same quote. Oh. Okay. This quote. If you've got this book, then please kindly read along with your girl. Okay. So it says this in the quote: we learn wisdom from failure much more than from success. We often discover that what we'll do by finding out what we'll not do. What we do, we'll find out by doing what we're not supposed to do. By Samuel Smiles. That wasn't really the easiest one to read, sorry. Okay, let me try. Oh my gosh, I feel like I want to do tongue twisters. You know, like my room must be like, Leighanne, you've only got an hour to do the readathon. We've selected like over, I don't know how many books I even took out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not library books. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 books. Oh my gosh, too much. Not too much. It's good anyway. Okay, how do you know that every bird cuts the airway? It's an immense gold of delight, closed by your senses to fire. By William Blake. We were part of the crowd and it parted. What happened? We parted of the earth and it parted of us. The perfect. Oh, no. I don't read all the quotes because not all of them are like moving my heart, making me like, yeah, I want to go and imitate, go to this church or whatever. But I like this one. Hold on, let me do another one before I. So it says, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, the other is gold. Unknown. That's it. That is the that's it for the quotes. Oh my gosh. If you see me, I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh, if Dad's got 2 books, I'm not doing that one. I'm only going to do one, but not going to do 2. Let me get out one of these words. Okay. So we've only got a few more minutes left. We're all by myself. Don't wanna be. Okay. For those of you not seeing on camera, just having like a water break and a lip balm break and a check the eyelash scrape break. All that. So this one says, oh, so this book is words that change the life. It's got giant, can you see? Giant big spaces and stuff, but there's obviously that some of the key preachers, they don't preach, they talk, don't they? I believe, this is a quote by someone called John Bright. I believe the people of England will rise and with one voice proclaim the overfall of all this Odysseus symptom. Wow. Some of them are quite damning. Some of them are quite lifted up. Oh, if I have a dream. Ooh. They've got Martin Luther King in it. It says Martin Luther King was the son of a Baptist minister who was himself one of the pioneers of what grew into civil rights movement in America, campaigning for race equality and anti-discrimination. They have some sweet ones. Yeah, Big Bang. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's my book falling over or whatever. So yeah. So it says the little box of calm. Have you got this one? If you've got it, you're welcome to read along with me. But if you ain't, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Listen, if I don't get these other books, then I'll just have to just read like a line or something from them. This says, okay, we're reading a little book of calm, right? It says this, levitate. Strand, they've got this alliteration. I'm like, how do you want me to do it? Stand straighter and taller than you believe feels natural with an imaginary thread attached to the top of your short skull, lifting you to a few millimeters above the ground. The higher above as the ground goes, you feel the closer you will be feeling to calm. Wow. So this is like, whatever you fear, do it, book it, which I do get, but just sometimes like, how am I going to go on the ski trip and they won't show me? How am I going to cope with it all? So they got all different secrets for calm. So I thought I'd just pick one random one. It's got quotes and stuff. Finally wonder in all you do. Okay, this one says recognize addiction. Satisfying cravings of any kind, including nicotine, chocolate, caffeine, alcohol, in no way to help ourselves feel calm. Recognize addictions for what they are and find an alternative. Thank you. And then you can be calm. Okay, I'm just going to make your work important. Oh, sometimes you might be at a job, but I can relate. You can be at a job where it's you can have a job, but it's not important to you. That's what I was going to say. So this one says, make your work important. So there's a difference between abject drudgery and noble, uplifting work is often no more than perspective. Treat your work as important, and the satisfaction that flows will work. Yes, will work. Will work towards helping her unwind. Yeah. Sorry, you know that it's that time. It's that time. Run for your life. Running is one of life's antidotes to stress. It simply requires no special reacting. It can be. It can have no special being to take effect within the first 200 meters. Wow. This little book, can you see it on camera? I know it's a bit pink, purple even. Hopefully you can see it. That book is amazing. It's amazing to be loved. Sorry, I'm just breaking out into song just to kind of keep me. Sometimes, like, you know, when you're running on treadmill, the last few minute or 2 or 3 or voice. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's like, what book? I want to read this one. I want to read all. I want to read all. Anyway, this book. I listen to TV jokes from time to time to hear about any difference, any hold on, let me get the page. I'm trying to do too much. Okay. All right, so this is the book, Reposition Yourself. And like, you always need to think, how am I positioning myself? How do I get myself in this situation? How can I get out? Okay, so it's deal or no deal, count the cost, what you pay versus what you get. Oh my gosh, who's ever paid? Listen, I'm going to go into one. Who's ever paid for something and you get something different? It's like, no, this is not what I wanted. It's not what I asked for. It's just annoying because you've had to use your time to go down. Then you've got to talk to someone who's figures to. Oh. Okay, anyway, calm. Anyway, this says, starts off with Isaiah 55:1-2, which says, "Come, all you who are thirsty." When I was young, when I started struggling, I thought it was a lift. Okay, so when I was a young minister struggling to make, can you see me? Is it too big? Okay, so it says, when I was a young minister struggling to make ends meet, can you see my face? Sorry, the book's too good. When I was a young minister struggling to make ends meet, I would lovingly eye my friends' new vehicles and wonder if I would ever make, let alone save enough to acquire a victory car. Once I've been working at a local plant for a while, I realized that my dream was not so far out of reach after all. After work one day, wearing my hat and stretched steel boots, I stopped by the local car dealership, and it was love at first sight. Oh, some people don't believe that, but I do. Love at first sight between me and the new Trans Am gracing the showway. Beautiful machine, everything was there. And see if that beautiful machine was within reach. Someone else took it upon themselves to answer for me. Oh gosh, I made it through that. And there's so many books to read. It's like, what do I start with? Where am I going next? Like, what's the plan? What's the dilly, yo? Okay, let me go back to now. If you know this book, you're gangster, you went to school in the 80s. If you know this book, it's from probably early 90s, what about something like that? Anyway, early 90s. This poem, I didn't do nothing. This was one of the childhood things that got me going as well. Oh, loved it. Okay, let me read this one. When I asked, hold on, which one should I read? I can't remember. All right. Oh yeah, so the book's called I Didn't Do Nothing, and the first poem says, I didn't do none. So it says, I didn't do none. All I did was to throw granny pin in the rubbish bin. I didn't do none. This book, I didn't do none. All I did was mix pain. Oh, I think it says pain. Oh, there's our timer gone. Ooh, that was a whole hour. Let me just finish up that poem. Oh, there's the alarm going, saying like it can't leave. You know, just doing that. Just basically enjoying be happy as dear boy for a little black boy. And I'm 8 today. My birthday card says it's great to be out, and they sure go right. I got a pair of skates. I wait for a long time. Okay, I got through the majority of the book. That was, I didn't do nothing. The other ones I had were like a 2-pack poem one that he hadn't released. And put the books out like this. 2-pack one. These are the ones I didn't get to kind of read through with you, but you can you see? I hope you can see. Oh, I didn't get to go through these ones. Calm, Curious, Hope, TD Jakes one, Toasted one, and herself. Mary Seacole, Game Changer, Inspiration, Impactful. If I'm at now, fix up. But that, I just want to say thank you everyone for coming. I know it's, thank you very much everyone for coming. Thank you for giving me a whole hour of your time to sit with me, listen to me, comment in the comment section, get the link in my bio, in the post below, wherever you can find it, just as long as you find it and you can give whatever is on your heart to give. And just grateful for today that I can read for this amount of time. And just, I'm so grateful for everyone and everything, Lord. Just grateful for this. I'm just grateful everyone listened to this readathon. It's been a special one. It did kind of make me a little bit tired, I must say, but I'm kind of doing this one, just thought, I've just got to do. I keep telling people I'm doing a readathon and I've done it. And I'm doing it and I'm grateful. And I'm just grateful you're here. It's just me and you. So I'm just really grateful that that I'm just grateful that you've listened to me, you've come into the readathon. I pray for you to use the link in my bio below this post to sponsor my friends who are out there in Warsaw, in Ukraine, and some other surrounding churches as well. Give them the strength to go, give them the finances, let them have let them be able to help and inspire others to do great and better. If that's you, please do click the links you can give on my Just Giving page. So this was been Leighanne special podcast episode where I can talk for a whole hour, talk and read for a whole hour about the books, why I like them, etc. It's been absolutely fabulous. And I'm going to see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.